I'm going to share everything I know, all the behind the scenes of my trip, and this is all helpful information that I kind of wish I knew before I did my trip and did all my research. So this should be super helpful to you, and I think it'll motivate you to like actually commit to hiking the Ak-Suu Traverse in Kyrgyzstan. So should you go to Kyrgyzstan, it is tough to get to and a bit more difficult with the logistics and everything, probably more expensive depending on where you're flying from. But I think it is amazing. And I think it'll be better than what you expect. It'll be something new, hopefully. All this depends on who you are, but me as an American, I didn't know anything about Kyrgyzstan, but it has really big mountains. It has beautiful, beautiful landscapes, the horses, the food, the people, and it feels a bit more wild. Obviously, like Soviet era inspired architecture and food and language, but very different. It's like a nomadic type of people, horse people. I was there for the hiking, but I was pleasantly surprised by everything else that I came across. For my trip, I flew into, I think it's the largest city, Bishkek. Bishkek is right here on the border of Kazakhstan. Manas International Airport is where I flew in, and then you take a cab into the city. I stayed in this area. And the way that I pick where I stay when I do research is I look for coffee shops and like nice hotels. So I'm also starting to learn that in places like this, if you look for embassies as well, usually the embassies are in a nice area and you'll find coffee shops and restaurants and hotels near the embassies. I just used booking.com to find, something high quality at a low price, and 5 Hotel was where I stopped in. $70, no brainer, easy. I also found some coffee shops nearby for, food, coffee, Wi-Fi, and just like a place that I can stop and think and figure out my next steps from. Yeah, this is what I was saying, these like Soviet era landmarks, statues, and architecture were all super new to me. So that's like the one thing that I did while I was in Bishkek, like walk around and look at all the Soviet stuff, because that's interesting to me because I'm not used to it. Let's see, what else? I walked around finding more coffee shops. Ala-Kul Square was like a main square area that was pretty pleasant to walk to during the sunset and see all the families and everyone playing and hanging out, business as usual. Oh, I just remembered, my situation was unique because I had a subscriber message me on Instagram before my trip and say that he wanted to pick me up from the airport, bring me to his apartment and like get me breakfast. He had like a shower I could use. It was just super hospitable. But a complete stranger, other than, the fact that he like subscribed to the channel and like told me, I let a stranger pick me up at the airport in another country and take me back to his place where I took a shower. So, if you visit as a Westerner and you want some like high quality, Kyrgyzstan food, this is the place to go. The prices are probably a little higher than other places in the city, but you're going to like get this and you'll be happy. Like the meat and the vegetables and the potatoes, the tomatoes and cucumbers, the onions. So after I spent some time in the city, I had to get all the way over to closer to the trail. So the trail is over here. This is where Bishkek is. So I messaged a Kyrgyzstani influencer, Ibrahim, on Instagram. I was talking to him and he was giving me advice for what to do and how to get around. And he set up drivers. He was super friendly and helpful with just like taking care of that. And I definitely overpaid a bit, but it was worth it just for the peace of mind. I think I paid like $50 to $100 to get from here to Karakol. And if you... Karakol. It's a long drive. In my video, you can see a little bit of that journey, but it's like a 6-hour drive. We went on the south and there was a ton of construction, like a ton of construction. So it took forever. So like a 7-hour taxi ride for $75, honestly, is not that bad. Not that bad at all. The alternative was to fly from the airport to another airport over here, but they only do that like, I think 2 days a week. And my timing, it just didn't work out. I could have made one of the flights if I didn't spend any time in Bishkek, but I arrived on a red eye. So I thought, I needed a solid sleep. I just wanted to like get situated before I left. So I made that trade-off, of having to do the drive. And it wasn't too bad. Honestly, I just like watched shows and listened to music and just kind of laid in the back. But then I reached Karakol. So Karakol is awesome. I love it. It's obviously a smaller town. It's almost like a mountain town. It reminded me of like Colorado ski towns because of these big mountains right here. There is a ski resort somewhere. Yeah, ski base. Ski base. It would be fascinating to go skiing in Kyrgyzstan. That would be so cool. I want to come back and do that. But I arrived and went straight to a hotel that my contact Ibrahim hooked up for me. I think it was, Mangu Mini Hotel. Once again, super cheap. I think I was the only person staying there, but it was nice to have a place to charge, Wi-Fi, everything was simple. Breakfast up in their little tree house. Some views of the city, like an easy place to drone from. So it was good. I ended up going to a different place on my way out, but what I liked about it was a quick walk over to this main street. And this main street is where I found Sportmaster. Sportmaster had propane tanks, so that was good. And then I went to Karakol Coffee, got some coffee. And there was a supermarket here, so I got some groceries there. And there was also a bank ATM. I don't know if it was this one, but it was like really close to here, where I was able to get some more cash because all of the drivers wanted cash. I remember that. So I had a big wad of bills, So my plan was in motion. I had another driver scheduled to pick me up in the morning after breakfast there and then drive me to the trailhead. So let's switch over to All Trails. I made 4 All Trails recordings. And if you can click on the individual activities to go to my profile to see. And that's the best place to get the information because there's photos that are geolocated. And then, it's just helpful to have the photos as well as my timing, exactly where I went, my pacing, my total time. So, I go back and forth between like, should I make one custom route map that has all the 4 sections together with no photos, because AllTrails doesn't let you upload photos to custom maps now, which is crazy. I don't know why they don't do that. But yeah, one of the photos I took in the hotel before I departed was my gear. So this might be helpful to see. This is everything I brought. I've got the Hyperlight Unbound 55. And all of this gear I have linked easy for you in the description of the video. So I'll go through like what I brought and why, but you can also see it there. So because I was making a video, I had some extra weight, and you can kind of see that right here. DJI Air 3 drone. It's got the 2 lenses. I think it's good to have the wide and the telephoto. Gives me some good options for filmmaking, higher quality, better in the wind. I think like longer duration batteries so it can fly further away because it's faster and stronger, but it's just heavier. You know, it's a trade-off of quality and stability for the weight, especially depending on how many batteries you brought. And I brought 3 in total, so 1, 2, 3. The controller, the camera, the Sony EV-ZV-1 with a 16-35 f4. It's just the one lens that I need to do everything. This tripod's fantastic with the Joby mount. A little bag that can be waterproof for my electronics, so things that I don't want to ever touch water, I can store in here. That's a battery bank, I think 20,000 milliamps. 3 extra Sony batteries, so 4 in total, 1 in the camera, 3 here. And I could stretch these to probably 1 per day. So, you know, without charging these batteries, I had more than enough to shoot everything I needed for the video. Headlamp, ultralight, a clip to hang the camera off my front, 3 breakfast granola berries, the propane I bought, a cup for coffee and tea, a jet boil for boiling, cooking meals, hat, shades, and then I've got some coffee packs, peanut butter, pistachios, rice, and egg, rice seasoning. I think these are instant coffees that I stole from the hotel. Ramen, bad ramen. This ramen was gross. Seaweed, rice, miso packs, tea, and dates. I'm trying to remember if I brought enough food. I don't think I did. I should have had a couple more meal packs, probably. Yeah. A puff, a shell, thermarest, sleeping pad, a blow up for the thermarest, sleeping bag, I think 20 degree sleeping bag. Yeah. Gloves, hat, scarf, shorts, sun hoodie, a mid-one tent. This was the first time that I was using this. Poles, like a mid-pole, the tent, and stakes. And then shoes, trail runners. This would be the last time that I used this tent on a hike, I believe. I already got rid of it. I'm back to my Nemo Hornet. I didn't like the size of it, how long it took to set up. The fact that like the other half where my bag goes was like bare to the ground, so it would get muddy. And just for like the bulk of it, like I still didn't fit. I didn't have enough room. I like my Nemo Hornet better. So, okay, once again, I think the price was around $50 to $100 for a much shorter. I think it still took me maybe like 2 hours maybe to get up here. I can't remember exactly, but it's deceiving. It's a really short path, short distance, but this road isn't the best. And then as soon as you get to this area up here, it is very winding and there was construction and it was just like difficult to get up here. It was surprising. And I expected to get all the way up here with the car, but he dropped me off very early, which wasn't ideal. I expected to go up further, and he could have, but there was like some construction for like a bridge. He would have had to cross like a pretty crazy river here or something, but getting dropped off here and walking up wouldn't be the end of the world. It would just like wouldn't be fun because it's a road walk. The road ended here at this point, and that's what I show with this photo. I'm like, finally I'm on trail, I feel better. But this kind of messed up my timing a bit. I didn't expect to spend half the day walking up on this road. And it was a 10-mile day. Yeah, this is like, I don't know, it's just like surprising. Like a lot of elevation gain. Well, not too bad. 7,000 feet to 11,000 feet. So yeah, I was starting to feel the altitude a little bit, but this wasn't that big of a day for me. So I was a little discouraged by that fact. And up here, this was when I flew my drone, and the clouds started to roll in. So I was in a really bad mood because I had to do the road walk. I was feeling the altitude. The clouds were rolling in. It was about to like rain and hail. So I had to set up my tent really quickly here. Yeah, right here. So I'm in my tent, and this happened almost every day. Like at some point the clouds would just come in. It's like a really heavy downpour shower, and then it goes away. It's like a maybe 10 or 20 or 30 minute thing. But it was discouraging. I think that's probably why it took, I have 4 hours of moving time and 7.5 hours of total time. So like that's almost 3 hours of not moving while I'm still recording. So, so I continued up the valley, and here let's switch to 3D satellite mode. Yeah, these all trails recordings are just helpful. And I'm starting to record more information, like places you can set up camps. Like if I should have taken a photo of this camp, but you can see it in my video a little bit going up. And then once I reached this spot, it was completely socked in. So it was just also just disappointing in that fact. It seems like a little thing of snow, but it's actually big, and I couldn't really go over it. I had to go all the way around it. And then down in the fog until I reached a spot where I could set up my tent because it started to rain. Maybe because I was below the fog, but I was just done. I was just done. And it's kind of silly because like it would be easier just to go this way, but I don't know. That's where the path told me to go, so. And in the morning I would take drone footage of these lakes, but I didn't see too many great views this first day. Still getting into the mountains a bit. So yeah, that's the first day. Second day, a bit more mileage, 13.6 with more elevation gain, more moving time, but still like this is a very big difference. It's almost 4 hours of downtime while hiking. So I'm taking breaks, I'm taking long lunches, I'm waiting for the rain and hail to like move through. So interesting. It's good to know. And I did this hike in early June of 2025. So I don't know. You can check the best time to go. This is like the best time that I felt I should go. I don't know what the weather is going to be like in different times. Obviously different snowpacks, different seasons, different years. This is just what I did and what I experienced. So that's all I can tell with satisfaction. So I hiked down, saw a bunch of horses. So these are just horses chilling. Cool to see. A lot of them. And the babies. Down into the valley. What's this? Oh yeah, views of more horses with the big mountains in the background. So yeah, I finally started to see one with the drone, but then also on foot, like some snow-capped mountains, some bigger ones. And then obviously once I get up over this pass, this is when I start to get really big views of the glacier mountains in the back. And as you can see, it's blue skies, great weather, put me in a much better mood. Looking back, like the really green grassy hills, it's really pretty. Looking up over the pass, this is where I'm going. Yeah, some really big peaks. Started to feel a lot better. Down here, I took this photo because this was an easy stream crossing, but like one that you kind of want to find the correct way across to not get wet. So there's different levels of stream crossings. So the snow is melting. It's June, so late spring. So all of the snow melt is making all the streams and rivers gushing and bigger. So always keep that in mind. Because streams can be dangerous and they can ruin your time. And there's a difference between like trying to not get wet and then trying to not get swept away and killed. So, oh yeah, I think, second group of yurts. So I would say most of them had people. And I passed a group of yurts before sunset on the other side of that where I camped, and there was no one there, but maybe they were just inside. But when I passed this one, I found other hikers like Germans and whatnot talking and eating breakfast. So this is definitely a place where I could have slept. They would charge you money. They'd probably have food for you, but you could sleep. You could probably set up a tent near here easy. They probably would charge you. But if you're sleeping there, you're probably eating there. And they have a bathroom, so it's nice. So that's good to know. And that definitely would be like a cash-only type of place. But a lot of these yurts honestly had Starlink, which was surprising. So first time that I'd seen like Starlink heavily used out in the wilderness. Another stream crossing, or no, this is the same one I just showed. Like I said, it wasn't like tricky or dangerous. It was just difficult to stay dry. You needed to find a spot. So climbing, whoa, climbing up past this lake. Good views. I went really slowly up here. I remember taking a break to eat lunch, I think, right here, and just feeling winded. So what I was at, just shy of 12,000 feet. So you'll feel that. You'll definitely feel that. And I felt winded. Absolutely. I really did not acclimatize at all for this, and it showed. It showed for sure. This pass was amazing. There was some snow up there, but totally nothing to hinder me in any way. Clouds started to roll in. And then looking down, yeah, this was an amazing valley. And just the way that the river, because it's like such big open spaces that no trees, you just get to see the way that the river winds when it has enough room to go. Just the grass is pretty. Really was a beautiful, beautiful place. So I think that was looking this way, and there's some glaciers. The trails were pretty great, easy to follow. A lot of times it was just this like compacted grass. Wasn't muddy. No, it was pretty dry. It was fine. And even though it was raining like a little bit every day, everything was pretty good. Just the wide open views with no trees. It was just really nice up here. And then once I came through this and then looked this way, this is where that really nice view of this peak with the valley and the river and the grass was just amazing to look at. Like the mountains, it almost like would have been worth it to go up this way a little bit just for more footage of this area, but my path sent me the other way, and I think it's a dead end anyway. There might be like some cool alpine lakes to look at up here, but I'm not sure how far you could go past this area. I was feeling good going down past the yurt camp. I don't think much was going on with that one. Stream crossing. This had a bridge. So right here, there was a bridge, and there was another bridge right here. This river would have been very difficult and a bit dangerous to cross, but I'm pretty sure there was another bridge crossing here. Because I remember thinking, yeah, there it is. There's the photo. See, this is why I take photos. This is why All Trails is great. So there's a little... Okay, you could cross this, but you're going to get very wet. You're going to get very cold. You're going to have a very bad time. Still not dangerous, I think. But having these bridges, you definitely search them out. Because I remember thinking that I'm like, I could cross here, or you could cross here. Okay. I stopped and had a very long lunch and nap here, I remember, because I was just feeling very fatigued and tired, especially looking up at this view and realizing that I had to go up, up, up for the next hour. There were so many sheep and goats. This picture doesn't do it justice. It was just covered. The whole mountainside was covered. So that was cool. Always fun to see those animals and the herders kind of following them along. But yeah, I had to work up the motivation to start this, and up, 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 extremely slowly. A lot of breaks. And I planned on getting over the top into the next valley, but I completely gassed out around here. Yeah, looking back, it was a bit hot as well with the direct sunlight. And I ended up right here, because like you can see the pass, it's right there. And then once you get over the pass, you can easily muster the strength to get down. And I had a bit of time, but this spot was gorgeous, and you can see it in the video. Like, this does not do it justice. I didn't take any photos right here for all trails. But it had a little, perfect little stream. There was nobody up there. I was completely isolated, and it was private. It was nice, great view. So I set up my tent there to take an early dinner and sleep. And I was going so slow at that point. Yeah, 11,000 feet. 11,000 feet. I mean, it's not Peru elevations, but it's still up there. It's enough to feel. It explains why I was dogging it. Yeah, I think it rained every night. So having a tent that could handle the rain in the night was super important. There's water everywhere when in June, obviously. So filtering water was not an issue. Like I said, you could sleep and eat at the yurts, most of them that you pass. But I didn't. I just wasn't feeling it most of the time until this last day, or day 3. Yeah, so Kyrgyzstan Traverse day 3, 13 miles. Almost 5,000, so very similar, just a shorter day. And once again, the offset is a little better, but maybe 2.5 hours of breaks, half an hour pace per mile. All right, I woke up and crushed this pass, thinking to myself, this was so easy, I should have just done it, but whatever. Once I reached the top, yeah, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Like the green grass and the rivers, so pretty. And then looking the other way. Oh yeah, a bunch of rocks with a shovel marking the peak. And then going down the other side. I don't know, could I have set up my tent up there? The thing is, there would have been no running water. So where I sleep, I want water to boil for food and tea and stuff. So it wouldn't have been worth it. I think I just had my 1 liter bladder. So I didn't carry any extra water because it was so abundant. So yeah, these seem like horse trails. Trails that a horse would make. Hiking with no trees is interesting because you can always see where you're going. So it feels like time is moving slowly because not much is changing, because you can see everything. Whereas when you're in the trees, you feel bored and you can't see much. You're just in the trees and looking at what's immediately around you. And then every so often it opens up and you have a view. So that's nice. So it's different. But for drones, this is fantastic. It's much easier to fly lower with you and the trail because there's no trees to hit. There's just a lot of different positives and negatives. This valley was a bit wider, I remember, and a lot of animals, not too much going on. This was a long ways. I do remember the drone shots that I got aiming this way with the squiggling river were pretty cool. And then, what is this? Oh yeah, we got the shrubs and the first bit of trees. So, you know, just going down until there's more and more trees, different. So it got a little steeper, more horse gates and horse fences and stuff at this point. And then I think this marked like a road area. So you could definitely drive at this point. And then passing a bunch of yurts and a bunch of like small farming infrastructure until I reached Altyn-Arashan. So this was the biggest area. It was touristy for the first time. There were multiple hotels choices, restaurants, yurt camps, hot springs that were just like rocks, pools with rocks, I think. I don't know if there was geothermal activity, but a very nice bridge. So this was on the bridge looking that way. This is a river that you could not cross. So there's a very nice bridge there. There's a reason why, you know, all this infrastructure has happened here. A bunch of like horse riders and all their dogs. Always a dog following the horses, which is always nice. This little shop I didn't go into just because it was busy, but obviously a place that you could restock and buy some stuff. I stopped into this hotel because they had Starlink. Yeah, you can see the Starlink right there. They had a place to wash hands, and I got some tea and like biscuits, so like a quick snack. Just because they did breakfast and I arrived like after breakfast. So they were cleaning up, everyone left, and I was like the only person there, and they stopped all the food stuff. They could have cooked something if they wanted to, but I just did something easy and then moved on my way. And you can see me walking around getting shots in the different areas. I considered going to one of the hot springs just to show what that was like, but I was told that these were like not good ones, and that if you're going to go to like a hot spring that actually looks good for photo and video, I think there's one in here on the way up, because there's a road that follows the river. The one down here is much better and like aesthetic for Instagram. Following this path on this side of the river through the forest was the most mud I saw on the trip, because this was like a horse highway. A lot of people drive up to here from Karakol, and then they ride horses up to the lake and then back down, or back down the other side. So this was the busiest touristy area of where I was hiking. For a reason, it's beautiful, but this was a bit trickier to walk on until I reached this spot where it opened up a bit more and then turned to climb. This was a spot where people could rent horses. So these people talked to me. They came up and tried to sell me a horse ride. But I told them, no, I'm walking, walking. But there were, I don't know what the price would be, but I'm sure a lot of people do that. So you could probably get a horse here. You could get a horse here, and it's like no reservations. You just roll up and get a horse. So if you want to do that, you can. Climbing. Every so often horses would pass me. I saw maybe 6 or 7 other hikers while doing this trek this day, just because this area was busy. But the previous 2 days, other than the 3 or 4 Europeans I saw at the yurt, I don't think I saw a single other hiker like walking and moving. I saw horse riders and like local people, but I didn't see anyone. So it was extremely empty. Or early in the season, I don't know. Oh yeah, these little guys, marmots. I call them marmots. Gophers, I don't know, prairie dogs. Yeah, this was a bit of a slog. And was it right here? I think right here, another rainstorm came, so I quickly set up my tent just to escape the hail. And the hail was pretty extreme. It was hammering down on the tent. And how high was I? So I was above 12, at 12 right here. So the altitude, the fatigue was getting me. I didn't think I had enough time or energy to get up over the pass and then to like do stuff over here. So I decided to sleep at this yurt camp because there were a bunch of people here. There was like a whole horse group. So I knew that they were cooking food and it was like all good. So, can I see the pass? I think the pass. I don't remember if this is the pass or this. I think the pass is like over here, to be honest, because I remember going this way. Let's see if I've got a photo of where I slept. Yeah, here's my tent in the the skeleton of the yurt. I thought that was fun. Oh yeah, going the wrong way. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Oh yeah, here's the food. Can I just, here, let me see like all the photos. Yeah, okay, so here's inside the yurt. You can also see this in the video, obviously. It was me and maybe one other like English-speaking hiker that I talked to, but then he left after dinner to go back down because he was like not feeling good. And then maybe two other Europeans and a couple other like Asian tourists. So maybe like 5 or 6 of us up here. But I thought the food was good. It's just like noodles and garlic and some veggies and broth and potatoes, carbs, right? And then I ate as many nuts as I could, and dates are always good. The bread, the stale bread was not good. I destroyed tea after tea after tea. But I think Kyrgyzstani like restaurant food is pretty good. Like all the huts, I think they're pretty good compared to other places in the world. I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, and everyone else was sleeping in the yurts, but I wanted to sleep in my tent just because I had it and it was cheaper, very cheap. I forget what I paid. I should have marked what I paid, but then I slept. And then I was hoping, oh yeah, the weather also wasn't that good in the sun, like the end of the day. So that made me want to like reset and hopefully get better weather the next day. Okay, the last day. I'll explain it, but I didn't think this would be my last day. My plan was to do even more, but I ended early. So, woke up, had breakfast, eggs and potatoes and whatnot, paid the guy, and then set off. I think I was the first one to get up on this side, but there were a big group of people who came up the other morning, like the same morning from this side and met me up here at the same time. So yeah, I would say more people were going this way than the way that I was going. This was pretty steep. It was not the most steep I've ever seen, but it was a little sketchy because, as you can see, the direction of the sun makes it the cold side. So this is the shady side. And there was a bit of ice and snow. So there was like 1 or 2 spots where the ice was like legit tricky and you had to be careful. And a lot of the older hikers I saw like getting like help with the guides. And there was actually a group going over, and one of the guys, like one of the older gentlemen, like legit couldn't do it, and I think he was gonna like head back because he couldn't get down over the ice. So I think he could have. Like I didn't see the end of that, the conclusion of that, but I think the guide was trying to like find an alternative path over here. It would be insane if they just head back because of that, but just to know, it's a little tricky. But the views up here, obviously you can tell, you know, world-renowned, unique, beautiful. The amount of big mountains with view, like the views of the big mountains, the beautiful turquoise lake, the size of the lake, the steepness of this on both sides. And then like looking back, it's really good. It's just a really unique spot. Do I regret not camping down here at the lake? Kind of. I mean, it would have been cool if I had good weather, but I didn't even go down to the lake. I just skirted around this side trail here. Would have been cool to camp here. There are like multiple free tent spots. That's what it says here on All Trails, and that is true. That is true. Let me open up. I swear I took photos. So for some reason, I didn't upload. Did I not upload any photos? Yeah, I didn't upload any photos. Okay, so I'm going to fix that. But for now, you can see this is here, me in here in the tent. And this was the view with the drone up there. And you can see the other people with me chilling at this top area. And, oh yeah, that was looking up at the pass. So I don't know if you can see the trail. And is that a person? Yeah, so that's a person. Oh. So that's a person. Gives you a little bit of perspective. Yeah, how steep. I need to add these to the All Trails. So it's a dirt path, so you kind of take one step, lose half a step, take one step, lose half a step. It was not scree, but it was like loose dirt. Looking back the way I came. Oh yeah, here's the group going down, and I think this is the old person. No, that's one of the guides. That's one of the guides. And even the guides were like, go slow, go slow. I was like, all right. A bunch of Dutch. This was a Dutch group. I even had them take a photo for me, which was nice. The flowers up there, fantastic. I was taking some photos of the campsites down on the lake shore. So this was like the super telephoto on my iPhone. They look great though. Yeah, like it would be a good spot. For the snowfall and the season, it was pretty cold up there with the snow. But I could have totally set up my tent there and had water. Yeah, I need to add these to the All Trails. So once I left that area, I did my drone, I did my shots. I didn't stay too long. And then once you get past, it gets a lot steeper. And there's like a big set of waterfalls here. They say rocky place for tents, but I didn't really see too many. It seems like a hard place to tent camp here. Let's see. Yeah, these waterfalls were very big. Hard to put it in scale. I need a person for scale, but the trail passed right, like this is the trail right here, right past this huge river going down. This yurt camp definitely had some stuff going on. You can see, once again, it was after breakfast, so they were cleaning up. No one, like everyone was gone, everyone left, but you could definitely get some food, Wi-Fi, and sleep there for a small fee. And it was in the tree line, I remember. And then going down just got greener and greener and greener, but the clouds were coming in and it was kind of starting to get a little rainy. So I made it down to this area, which was gorgeous. A lot of pine trees and, you know, gorgeous. Gorgeous spot. It was a huge river that I could not have crossed. So there was a bridge and it was just rainy. So I walked around a little bit and tried to figure out my plan. My plan actually was to continue up over this area and make it over to this. And then this is where I would get picked up. And it would have been a much easier Jeep ride out. This is also another way out. There's a road, but it's nasty. It's muddy, it's jagged, it's like a very difficult drive. So you have to have a more 4x4 rugged terrain vehicle to get out. And because I took so much time the first day, that kind of pushed my whole trip as far as timing. I mean, it would have been tough for me to take another day to do, because I probably would have had to sleep. There's no way I could have done the whole hike up and over. So the timing just didn't work out. I intended to do like maybe 60, 70 miles in total, but I was like, I have enough for a video, I'm out. So at the Wi-Fi of this area, I actually told my contact, I'm going to be, in 2 days, I'll be at this spot. Could I get the Jeep here? And he was like, yeah, we'll switch that. I'll send a guy up. It'll be $100 though. So very expensive, but honestly, this was the craziest road I had ever seen. And I don't know if I could have driven it. And his Jeep was insane, so fine, whatever. Just the business expense. But I had a little time to kill before like the timing of when he would pick me up, because like we said 2 o'clock and I got there like maybe 11 or something. So I walked around and, you know, took this little footbridge over, took pictures of this gorgeous horse, escaped the rain until this guy picked me up in his Soviet era Jeep. They don't call it Jeeps though, they call it something else. At some point, he had to do something to like the tires to, I think, put air in them or something, or tighten something because the road was rough. And then we got to a point where it was more a smooth, normal road. And he like had a cigarette break. He was like chain smoking cigarettes this whole time, but he was like a young guy who was kind of chill. Didn't speak much English, but we listened to like music. He was like blaring like Soviet or like Russian, I don't know. It was like really funny European dance music, so. And at this spot, you can see it in my video, but on the other side, there's also like a big van, like a Soviet era van with a little family selling snacks and food and Coke, so you could buy something there. There was also like a little farmer yurt that cooked me food and let me use their Starlink for a price, like maybe $5, I don't know. So it was nice to escape the rain and eat some food and have some Wi-Fi there. And then I walked over to this campsite area and they were actually building really nice lodges. And that's like in the video, you can see those guys building. So maybe they're done by now and you can stay there. I told them like, I want to come back because these lodges, they're like, I think they were A-frame, like aluminum wood, and they looked really cool. The views were fantastic. So I was like, I'll come back. Let me put this in the video. And they're like, okay. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't look that bad, but this was an insane drive. From here to here was insanity. And then once you hit this little spot, it switches on to the main road, and then it's Gucci from there. Back in town, I decided to try a new spot, this Any Rest. This was legit a house with many rooms with one old woman and her cat. Absolutely fantastic stay. This is her cat. I think she had a couple cats, but she cooked me breakfast. She was adorable. She didn't speak much English, just enough. Put this hat on me, took this photo for me. And the cat was hanging out. So look at this breakfast. Well, you got the bad bread again. Bread has to be good for me to eat it, so I just didn't. Yogurt was good, 0 notes. Tea, simple. Eggs were good. Cucumber, tomato, I'll eat always and forever. But places during my entire time in Kyrgyzstan, people were trying to get me these hot dogs, and something about them gave me the ick, so I just never had those hot dogs. I felt so bad just like leaving the hot dogs, so I'd at least like cut them in half. I don't know, it's just funny. Me rolling around in my Crocs with my suntan. I think that's me showing Mika like how bad my suntan went. I think in the video you can see me drying stuff out. It was nice that I just like have a private room. I think that night I went to this bar and had a drink. Where was that spot? It was a pleasant spot. It was definitely touristy. Yeah, the Hut. The Hut. A lot of tourists, English speakers, but a cool spot if you want to grab a drink. And then this is also the OG. This was a nice, so for locals, you know, it's nice, but for me as a New Yorker, dirt cheap prices, but professional. You know, like an actual menu, Wi-Fi, the food was good, like the servers are very like professional, and you can just get whatever food you want, like endless delicious food. I got Chinese and breakfast there and rice and coffee, shishuka. Yeah. I went to this place every day, probably twice, just to, like work and eat and drink coffee. And it was big, so I had plenty of room. I love places like this. I completely abused it as a American traveling with dollars. And then before I left Karakol, I actually met up with Ibrahim. Here he is. So it was nice to finally meet the guy who was helping me. And he brought me to this place, and we had this delicious... No, wait. Oh, that was the drive. No, that wasn't that place. I didn't take a photo of what we ate, but it was good. It was this like popular, it's got like almost 6,000 reviews on Google. But this is like traditional Kyrg food, done well, a bit more expensive to local standards, but absolutely cheap to me, so it was good. And he insisted on buying dinner for me, which was insane. It was so nice of him. Okay, so then after that trip, I hired he booked me another driver to get to the next leg of my journey, which would be the horse trek. Karakol. Yeah, so I would be going from Karakol to here, so another long drive, 5 hours, so maybe 6 or 7 hours with a stop right here. And that stop right there was to eat this amazing lunch with my driver. He spoke no English. Loved Coke. He had his dish, and I had this amazing, I was like, this was perfect. We got pepper, we got tomato, cucumber, rice, steak, onion, coffee. And I swear all of that was like $10. So 0 notes. All throughout Kyrgyzstan, these king boxing, like punching bag machines, everywhere. Every gas station, every restaurant had one of those outside, so it was really funny to see. I think we stopped for a second just to like look at this place. I should have droned, but I think it was midday, so it wasn't that interesting. Like I would have needed sunrise or sunset to get the shadows on the hills a little bit to get some contrast. But But I remember there was a ton of construction along this lake for the road and also lodges. Like they were building A-frames everywhere. There was so much investment. So it's interesting to see. And that's it. So the next leg of my journey was a horse trek with another group going south. And I think I might make a video about that because I haven't really talked about it, but that'll be a separate video. So that's about what I can share from my journey. Watching the video that's on YouTube and then watching this and then also looking at the all trails activities, I think should tell you a lot. It should help. But of course, if there's any like specific questions that I forgot or missed or you have that I didn't think of, leave a comment and I will do my best to like treat it like I'm like helping you. Like I'm your personal hiking guide assistant for this trip. So just like drop a comment and I hope this helped. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you go hike in Kyrgyzstan. And if you do, for sure, let me know. I would love to hear how it was, if this was helpful. I love seeing YouTube videos from people doing the same hikes as well, because I get a little refresher and like, I remember that spot, but also like, it's cool to see some kind of impact from these videos and inspiring people to do the hikes as well. So, all right, take care. Thank you.